All righty, good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Caesar.
Y'all, it's good morning.
Good morning.
It's so great to see you all. I love Fridays because I get to see you all like really put on your best. You all look absolutely amazing. Give yourselves a round of applause. Today, guys, we are here for our 5th Impact Series workshop. We are very privileged to have Mr. Sharod Farmer here with us. He is the co-founder of Navi AI. He's also a participant in the FAU Tech Runway, a visionary entrepreneur, a visionary leader who is essentially changing the game when it comes to AI and nursing and connecting individuals through these platforms right here in South Florida. So I'm honored to have him here with us. He's going to walk you through an amazing journey and experience about pivoting today, and you're going to hear his story, and I hope you will be definitely able to apply some of his insights to your own journeys as entrepreneurs. So without further ado, let me go ahead and introduce Mr. Sharod Farmer of Navi AI.
So I just want to say thank you guys for having me today. And I just want this to be a very intimate conversation because as you guys all know, which I want you guys to answer this question for me. How many of you guys want to be entrepreneurs in the future or are entrepreneurs now? I would hope all of you guys at some point, right? So honestly, I just want to tell you my journey because it does have a lot of emotion involved into it. And to get to this point where I am now to be able to be in front of you guys. It first started off when I was in college. I was attending the University of Florida. I actually started off with my degree in business and trying to go into engineering as well, trying to combine both of those together somehow, which I thought was crazy. But as I got into and I got to my core classes, I actually ended up flunking out of the business school. So I was like, oh, well, what should I do? But I need to be here because I'm on a full ride. I don't want it to be in vain. I was the first person in my college, first person in my family to go to college and be able to get to this point where I am now. And honestly, I was like, well, my mom, she's like, you should go do art. I was always into music. I was in drumline and stuff like that. But then I was like, well, I don't want to go to just a degree for art and then just feel like a waste. But I talked to my mom about it and she was like, well, just keep going and see how it goes. So I did. I applied to the College of Arts at UF, was able to get into it, and then actually was able to get my degree from it. However, during the time when I was there, I was wondering, how can I take this further? I still want to be in business. I want to still be solving problems like how engineers do. What is that? And then that's when I came across a friend of mine that was recruiting for a startup company. It was called LoftSmart. They were tabling on campus. They were helping basically students be able to find a way to get into apartments and have the leasing process be more applicable for people like us. Even your first time on your own, you want to be able to make sure that you're not getting screwed or making sure you even know how to pay rent. You consider most of you guys were at your parents' house and on your own feet for the first time. So I basically just went with that, and I was tabling on campus and I was like, hey, this is something that I like doing. I love talking to students. I like being able to just be wearing different hats, learning how the different things work. And even though it was in the real estate market, I was like, I'm not seeing myself in this, but it's something cool. So I was like, as I was building time, I was there for maybe a year and a half while I was in managing classes. I don't know how I was doing it, running out of classes to go actually do startup work. I don't recommend you guys do that, but I was doing that. And as I got to it, I was like, well, I could see myself starting something, and what is it that I want to do? So that led me into well, I'm a first generation college student. What was some of the problems that I faced and seeing some of my peers that were in the MFOS program? And they were like, well, college was very rough for us to be able to kind of get acclimated. We didn't have our parents telling us what to expect. Financial aid office was honestly a nightmare for us. I'm sure it was some for you. And I was like, well, we had to find a way that's better to transition students into their first year of college. So that's what we did. We started Bookmark, and it was honestly just starting with helping them find textbooks. I remember when I was a business student, my textbooks were literally $500, and I didn't have that. I was on a full ride and I didn't have any help from family. It was just me. So we decided to do that, started with just doing it on Facebook. And then from there, we created our own app. We were getting a lot of hype because it was just me, my friend, and another person that was her friend that ended up becoming co-founders. As we were, going along and getting some traction, we started coming across some issues, which it was more of just communication, just trying to see what exactly we want to do like moving forward. But we stuck through it and got to that point, and then we ended up applying to what you guys kind of like our equivalent for UF is called Gator Hatchery Program. We applied in the September and actually got accepted. I was super excited. I was like, okay, we're doing something. Even though we have our little problems or whatever, we're gonna keep it moving. And then we got in. I remember seeing the little Gator Hatchery logo, just walking in. I was like, oh, we've made it. We're official. But looking at myself, I was like, we're not even there yet. There's a lot of work to be done. And that's where a lot of the challenges started to unfold. As we were progressing, I started dealing things with my co-founders. Like, even though they're my friends, the running a business is definitely different. There were things such as like poor communication. There were things that people wanted to go different directions, not being clear on what the mission was or why we even started what we tried to do. And that led to a lot of bickering and a lot of things that we were focused on that rather than the actual company. And as we were preparing for our launch that was supposed to be in 2020, as you all know, COVID hit. I was completely devastated. I didn't know what to do because I thought we worked all this point and our entire business was hinging on students being on campus, having transactions, being able to meet on campus and talk to each other about classes and everything. And I was like, well, what are we gonna do? And so for the first few months, I was talking to my co-founders about it. They thought that we were just running it into the ground. And I was like, well, we have to figure out a solution. And eventually both of them just left. They didn't want to be a part of it anymore. And I was like, well, I mean, I'm not gonna quit. I want to figure out what we can do to move forward. And I'm sure like with all you guys, the whole thing of entrepreneurship is that you're gonna have to be very, very resilient. There's gonna be a lot of people that are gonna tell you no. There's gonna be a lot of people that are gonna tell you that this idea sucks, that they don't believe in this, and that you shouldn't be doing this. I mean, honestly, you are crazy for what you are doing, but that's what makes it fun because you guys are solving real problems. That's why I continued doing what I was doing. Eventually, I just kind of took like a break during 2020 and 2021 of like my entrepreneurship journey and was like, well, you know, just taking jobs, like going into more of the corporate life, doing product management, working for app development agencies. And I was like, I'm not happy. I don't like doing this. I want to do what I was doing. And there was still a need, especially, which I want to say for this part, we got to the point prior to when we started having problems, we were actually approached by an investor. He saw what we were doing for Bookmarked and was very interested. He was prepared to write us a check for the whole company of $10 million.
Wow.
Yeah. And right. And I was like, at this point, I was like, then we definitely are, well, if someone's getting ready to offer us a check for that. And the crazy thing is to me is like, we weren't in it for the money, we were in it for solving problems. So the money didn't matter. And we all said no. Even though the next day we all could have been millionaires. And that is tough because, you know, money, we do use money, but I wouldn't have felt fulfilled because I would have just given something up that we worked so hard for. And I carried that with me throughout my entire time as we kept persevering through obstacles, trying to see what we want to do because we know that there is value here. And then eventually we got to the point where I was sitting just in my room and I was just like, well, things aren't going the way that I envisioned it to be. Things are like just kind of at a lull and I want to be able to take it to the next step. It wasn't until, I remember this, I went to a South Florida Tech Hub event and they were recruiting for an incubator program that was called AI Forge. It was basically to help like AI companies pretty much excel and then get better and then hopefully get funding from VCs. I looked into that and I was like, well, this seems interesting, so I'll apply. I looked into it and did my interviews. They thought that we were great, we should be a great fit. And then we started. We ended up starting the program, I want to say, our first date was in September of 2021. So that entire period, I was just like, you know, working and trying to see what we can do next. So that was a pretty big break in between from 2020 to 2021. The first day that we get there, I'm like, oh, surrounded by all these other startups that are trying to solve same problems and everything. And thought we were all good. We're going to really take charge and make this be like my last shot to really get either funding or make this business like grow where we need to grow. Because we already had traction. We had a little bit of money coming in, but we weren't at the point where like I can go full time with this and really make some things happen. But this was my chance. Well, unfortunately, other problems problems occur, as always. We were supposed to get an investment from this incubator program, and unfortunately, we didn't do that. I packed my bags up from in Broward, and I moved all the way down to Miami for this. I was paying for an Airbnb. I told my girlfriend, I was like, hey, this is going to be it. We're going to do this. And we were supposed to be there for 3 weeks and, well, 3 months, and nothing happened. We got there, they didn't have any money for us. They kept saying that they would have it for us. And essentially, I was just dipping into my savings the entire time. I know it's stressful. Like, but that's the thing. I'm still here though. Okay, just remember that. All this is what I'm telling you is happening to me. I'm living it. And this is recent. So this isn't something that like happened a long time ago. This happened to me like, and it's still fresh. I was pitching constantly on the ground all the time, working out like 100 hours a week, just making sure that we were going to do this. As you know, like hard work is going to be one of the name of the games, but it's also going to be smart work as well. And for me, that's what I was trying to make sure we were combining both of them, getting myself exhausted, making sure that we could get to that point. We had VCs that were interested, but unfortunately, we just couldn't get to that point because of where we were at, me dipping into my savings and just not being able to sustain myself in order to actually sustain the business. So it went from me constantly bickering with them, hey, can you like help us out, help us out, help us out, and to no avail. And it wasn't until after we finished the program in December of 2022. Yeah. Sorry. It was 2022 of September and then 2023 of September. And then I'm getting all my dates mixed up. It's like so many things happening. September of 2023 and then moving into 2024. Because as we finished in December, honestly, I was like just so overwhelmed that when I got back home with my girlfriend, I was just like sat in the car because I had no money. All my accounts were in the negative. Like I was just like, at that point, I do come from a religious household. So what I did was I just like sat in my car and I just prayed. I was like, I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't have any money. But I want to be able to build something. And I went through all of this for something, you know? And literally the next day, my co-founder, the new one that I have, he had sent me some money to help me cover just rent. My parents, they ended up having some back tax that was like a fluke, and they ended up getting a whole bunch of like money, and they were able to send me exactly what I needed to cover the bills. So I was really like just yeah. And honestly, this at the same time, I was tabling at another South Florida tech event, and I had walked by and was like looking at trying to meet up other startups, other programs, because I know that the one I was currently in was not helping me. And it wasn't until I came across the Tech Runway group, and they were explaining to me what it was and what we could do and things like that. It's when we were applying. I ended up actually getting accepted December of that end of the actual AI Forge incubator program. So I was like, well, this is another shot, but I can't even pay rent. So the fact that all of that converged into like one point of, I'm in a whole new program. I'm basically have all my things are on reset mode, and I need to just kind of reinvent and start fresh. So I was like, Bookmark, you've been through the ringer, like you've been through everything, and it's time to elevate. So when we first got into the first day of the program, which started in February of 2024, I sat down with all the FAU Tech Runway people, and I was explaining what Bookmark was. They were like, this is great what you're doing. How about you just start small and then get to that point? I was like, okay, so are we like pivot? Like, what does that mean? They're like, yeah, you're going to change what you're doing. You're not like changing the entire business entirely, because what you have is a great business model. I mean, you made money from it. You just need to start small so you can make the quick wins and then get better. I was like, okay. So it wasn't until where are we going to start? I got my, advisor team and everything. And then they were like, well, this would be serving a lot of great people such as nursing students. So we were like, maybe you should try starting there. I was like, well, I'm not going to change like the whole name. I'm not going to change all this type of stuff. Mind you, I've spent 5-6 years already on this, and we've had money. We got a $10 million offer. Why should I do that? And I had to realize that a lot of that was just ego talking. That wasn't something that was going to be, it wasn't tangible. And I need to be, if I want to be the CEO that I want to be and the leader that I want to be, I have to make sure that I do what's best for the company and not put myself in front of that. So at that point, that's when I made the decision. And I was like, I talked to my co-founder. I was like, I know we put all this work into it. We'll have to go behind. We'll have to start fresh. He, honestly, I thought it was going to be scary because I thought he was going to leave me like my other two co-founders did, just when things get tough, but he stuck through it. So I know I'm here today talking to you about my story, but honestly, kudos needs to be given to him. He's not here right now. He's in Virginia, but he is the main reason why we're still here today. And you have to have the right people around you. So, and honestly, I had another situation where I was speaking with my girlfriend who, she doesn't know this, but she's gonna be my wife sometimes.
Oh.
I literally was sitting with her and she hit me with the most profound question that I really was like, wow. I was sitting there and I was like, Michelle, these things aren't moving the way I wanted to. I'm not getting the things that we need for this company to grow. And she literally was like, mind you, she's not in the business school, like she's not an entrepreneur in it, but she makes common sense. Like she understands that. She's like, even if you have everything that you want, are you in the position to even accept and use it? I was like, well, I shouldn't have asked you this question because you're right. And she was right. I was young. I mean, I'm only 26 now. I know I'm a lot older than some of you guys here, but at the time I was like 22, 23, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna take over the world. I don't need this. I got a $10 million check, whatever. We're gonna be good. And I was like, no, I'm not ready. I don't know what I'm doing. I still don't know what I'm doing. I'm only 26. I have a lot to learn, and that's the whole thing of why I'm here with you guys. Being able to learn from you, what you guys want to learn, what you guys want to do, what the world's always changing, and that's why I want to be here to be able to make sure that I'm keeping my boots to the ground and keeping my ears open. And it wouldn't be possible also if it wasn't for her asking me that question, because that to this day, I always keep reminding people that it doesn't matter if you want something. It doesn't matter if you say that you need this. You have to make sure that you need to talk to yourself first. Am I even ready for this? Do I have what it takes to actually do this? Entrepreneurship is not just some walk in the park. It may look like that on social media because you see someone that, end up raising their seed or their Series A. That person, I guarantee you, was spending 10, 15 years going through basically hell and back, trying to get to that point. Maybe some may have the better connection to work smart or whatever, but that's very far and few between. A lot of you guys are here because you know that there is problems in this world, and you know that you guys are built and ready and equipped to do that. And you guys are here because you want to learn how to be able to overcome those struggles in an efficient way where it's not detrimental to yourself. Okay? Really take it from me. I know I could have done a lot of things better and listened to a lot of people early on in my life, but I didn't. I try to persevere instead of change. I was very afraid of it. And that's why I want to make sure you guys are clear on this, that when I got to that point, when I was moving from Bookmark to Navi, I was insanely scared. I really thought that I was doing something completely dumb. I was feeling very insecure about it because I felt like I was just putting something into something that was not going to work. And the fact that he was like, Sharod, as your co-founder, just do it. We'll figure it out. And then now we're here today. We changed it from Bookmark to Navi. We ended up actually getting our product out within like 3 months. We were able to start getting partners such as Advent Health Orlando. We were able to start working with Holy Cross Hospital. And to the point right now, we're working on getting grants between FAU Tech Runway, FAU, we're with Miami-Dade College, all these things because we just made one simple change. And that was start fresh. I want you guys to let that thing sink in. I know a lot of you guys have ideas that you guys are probably working on right now. And I tell you, there might become a climax point where maybe you might need to change. And I tell you, don't fear it, please. It's gonna be okay, trust me. I've been where you guys have been. I was sitting in your exact shoes in Gator Hatchery program, listening to all the speakers tell me about their entrepreneurship journey and how they've built billion-dollar companies. I'm like, I'm gonna do that one day. And I'm not there yet, but I know I will be. And I just wanna make sure you guys all here understand that it does take a lot of work. It does take the right people, which make sure you invest in your circle, which fortunate enough, you have people like Xavier and all the fine people and Javier over here are supporting you guys. So that is exactly why I want to be able to transition this into an actual workshop that I do have prepared for you guys that is going to be talking about pivoting to success. When it comes to actually understanding what is the way of how you should persevere as a startup and being able to understand what defines of actually making a pivot and that change. it was hard for me to figure out, but luckily I was able to get the right resources to actually get to that point. So I definitely want to turn it over to that and make sure you guys understand what it is to do that, okay? Perfect. Before I do that, I actually just want to answer, does anyone have a question or anything so far about? I will agree with you. 26? I really made the pivot this year.
There ever times where you felt like I should have just took that check?
Oh, trust me, all my friends, they were like, "Are you stupid? Like, why would you do that?" And I was like, and they don't get it. Like, none of them were entrepreneurs. None of them understand what it's like solving actual problems and what it takes to sacrifice. But only person that actually really understood, which unfortunately she wasn't an entrepreneur, but she just, like I said, common sense, was Michelle. She's like, I know that you want to be able to get the fruits of your labor, but I know that you're not going to be satisfied with that. So yes, part of me, but part of me is very happy that I did it, because who knows, maybe the person that did write that check did something terrible with Bookmark and tarnished everything that we built. Now, money can be good or bad. And honestly, when I was looking back on it, the person that was writing that check, it was looking more towards bad money. So. Oh.
Hi. So when you're looking for a co-founder, what are the traits you should be looking for?
Yeah, so the typical nomenclature for that is don't hire your friends. I mean, yeah, I know we talked about this. Yes, trust me, I learned my lesson hard. I had two of my friends. I would say a hybrid approach to that. Make sure that the friends you have are quality friends. Okay, that's a difference. There are plenty. I have a friend that was in the same Gator Hatchery program with me that had his co-founder, that's his best friend, and they went to Techstars together. They built a company. They're working with Uber right now, and they are two peas in a pod. Okay, so it is. I'm not going to say don't hire your friends, but I'm going to say make sure that you invest and make sure that those friends are built for what you need to do. Okay.
I mean, I think that it's amazing how you were able to persevere even when people said no. And I think and a couple things stood out to me, especially with like work hard and work smart also, and it also opened up new perspectives. When I saw AI about the speaker, I was like, oh, I'm interested in AI, but after hearing you, it's more about perseverance, and I love perseverance, and I love the mindset, and I'm interested in all that. So good job, and you're on the path to success, I think.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Wow. Yeah.
Do you think that people looked at you differently after you made the switch?
Yes, bad and good. There were some people that I originally talked to about Bookmark that didn't want to talk to me as Bookmark, but they wanted to talk to me as Navi. And there were some people that really hate what we're doing right now. But I'm gonna be honest, I don't care, because they're not the ones that are trying to solve those problems.
Right.
There are haters out there. I mean, that's just honest.
So I'm so sorry. So with Bookmark, you kind of wanted to aim towards first generation college students now. So with Navi, with working with nurses, what's the vision now for that, if it's not the same?
Yeah, so it is similar as far as we're not working directly with first generation students. We are actually working with more high school students that are interested in aspiring nurses and helping them transition into whether it's being an accelerated BSN program or if it's actually going to a four-year institution, helping them really understand what that journey is going to be like for them. And that starts equipping them with, first of all, financial education tools. We use AI to help them do financial planning, helping them understand like what university they should go to based on their household income. Because honestly, if I didn't have the full ride that I had for UF, I wouldn't have gone to it. I'm not going to transition all the way from Panama City to do that. I would just went locally because I didn't have the money to afford it. So yeah, I would have still got the same education. To speak to that, I'll actually give you a quick story of why we're doing that. I was sitting, I remember I was in high school, my junior year, and I was like, I'm going to apply to all the Harvard, the Yale, all that stuff. And I got to sit down with an admissions person from Duke, who's an alumni. He was like, I'm just gonna be honest with you, you're not going to do. Which, and I was like, why would you come and have me sit down with you just to tell me that? He was like, well, I'm telling you this because it doesn't matter where you go. It's about who you are and the change you're gonna make when you get there. So I literally took that and I was like, well, I'll just apply to any school then, and then just be who I am. That isn't, the school is not gonna change who I am. And that's exactly why I try to promote that within Navi, because a lot of these kids, they want to go to Harvard, that's going to define them and make them feel like they're successful. But at the end of the day, when you're a nurse and you're going out there and you're $60,000, $80,000 in debt, there's a different pathway that you could have took to get the same result. You know, and that's what we start with putting in and using that for AI technology. And then on top of that, being able to connect them with actual hospitals that actually want to have them start off as nurse techs while they're in school to get them acclimated to the actual program to increase retention. As we've seen a lot of nursing shortages and things like that have happened, along with hospitals that are working diligently to make sure they're retaining their labor force. And that's what we're helping with. No worries. One more question.
My name is Tristan.
Nice to meet you.
My question is,
But real quick, I appreciate you were the first person to actually tell me your name when you asked the question.
no, my main question is, when you were offered the $10 million, right? Did you ever think maybe if I had gotten that money, I could have easily been able to make something even better than what at the time bookmark? And then as well, do you think that's what happens to a lot of entrepreneurs? A lot of ones that want to actually make a change, but they fall under the spell of greed? And
I cannot, yeah, there's a lot of greed out in this market. A lot of the people that were, you know, more well endowed in the business world were saying the same things to me. Why didn't you take it? And you could have just, you know, maybe started your own incubator program and invested in maybe 10 startups, 20K each or whatever. Yeah, could have done that. But I don't want to get too caught up in that because honestly, I'm happy where I am now. I'm happy the journey that I took. Could have been different, could have been better, could have been worse. But ultimately, that is one of the things. There will be mistakes that are made and you do learn from them. And who knows, maybe I might get $100 million offer and I could do the same thing, you know? But all I'm gonna say, I am grateful where I am right now. I'm grateful that I was able to have that journey and have those mistakes and even know that the work I'm doing was even worth $10 million. But it doesn't matter because I know it's gonna be worth $1 billion, $2 billion, doesn't matter. As long as we're solving the problem, doesn't matter how much money it brings in.
Do you have like a mentor or did you listen to any like podcasts like have just to like I guess bring you knowledge and help you with your passion?
Yeah, so we had a lot of mentors. I found this like, this might sound weird. I found this like kooky guy that was on the street that was like doing a lot of like he's like really into like software and stuff like that and like AI, and he was like one of my like premier mentors, like just telling me how business and stuff worked. And I was like just doing some digging on him because I didn't know him too well. And I realized I was like, oh, he's like well endowed within like the games little area. I was like, I just met him like randomly. So that was like one of my first premier mentors. But eventually, like with Hatcher, we had a bunch of people that we worked with. And then obviously through AI Forge, even though the program didn't pan out too well, the people that were there that were doing whatever they could were good mentors. I still keep in contact with them today. Matter of fact, one of the mentors that was helping me with my financial planning, he actually ended up saying, he started his own company. And now he was like, hey, Sharod, I love what you're doing. I really value the fact that you've made this transition. When you get to whatever time you're going to start raising, please let me know. I want to be the first investor. I don't care what you're doing. I just want to invest in you because I know what you're doing is great. And I wouldn't be able to have that if I didn't go to the AI Forge program. So we have a lot of mentors, a lot of people that I've listened to. I feel like I've kind of gone, I'm sure you guys are all familiar with like Avatar, The Last Airbender. I kind of went on my little like Avatar journey, like learning about software, learning how to communicate, what it's like to be a leader, what it's like to fail, how to be happy with failure. All of that to encompass the person I am today. It really was like a tremendous journey. So, and it wouldn't be possible for all the people, probably hundreds of people that have given me advice or told me something's up or whatever. I'll take this last question, then we'll get on with the presentation.
And you mentioned that there was good money without money and that it was looking at bad money. What were like the indications you were seeing to like be able to like differentiate like things?
Yeah, so this particular investor, I'm not going to say his name. He he has a lot of money in like real estate, and he was pretty like well endowed within the Gainesville area. However, his the things that he would put his money into were not the what I agreed with. And I wanted to, whether or not that's his prerogative, I'm not going to sell you my company to do whatever you're doing. And that was a sign, was a red flag for me. It's about not only just being the person that has the money, but who's a good steward of the value of what you're bringing to them. And he just wasn't that. Maybe for other businesses or something like that, but not mine. All right. Well, we'll take one more. We're still good on time, right? Yeah. Okay.
So one I might add, one is like the comment bench question. I think also good morals and values are like really good for business, like especially how you had your faith to guide you through. I think that's important. Also, on another note, with mentors, what do you look for in a mentor, and what have your perceptions of mentors changed since you were starting the business to now?
Yeah. So when I first got started, I thought mentors were essentially just gonna do everything for me. Like I was like, I didn't know what I was doing. I'm like, they know they built a business, they can do it from start to finish, and I'll just execute. That was my initial perception, and I realized quickly that was quite the opposite. I'm gonna do a lot of the work, and they're just gonna be there for guidance. And in that guidance, it was how they communicate. That's what I really look for in mentors, is I always preach clear communication and constructive communication, because there are a lot of mentors that I've had that actually have communicated in like ways that you shouldn't be talking to somebody. Like, just the product sucks, Facebook's gonna kill you. Okay, then how do we solve that? Where do we go from there? That's not constructive. And those types of things that you want to make sure you look out for. That's why I always say invest in quality people. And same thing with, even speaking on that too, like investors. I've been approached by like VCs. I've been approached by angel investors. I reached out to them, and to come to find out that not every person that says they're a VC should be a VC. Not every person that it says they're an angel investor should be an angel investor. There's a reason why angel is an investor for angel investor. So just keep that in mind, because you have to have those good morals into why you're investing in companies, along with what you're giving information to people that are trying to excel and learn, just like you guys. I hope that you guys find what I'm saying to you as very helpful. I hope that you guys are taking it to be able to build up your businesses. I don't want to steer you guys in the right direction, but ultimately it is your decision to discern and be able to make sure you understand what is being told to you, and make sure that it's the right information for you, not just what is just being told. Do you have a question?
But I can.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. I literally saw this. I didn't know if you were touching your hair or doing this, so I apologize. No, go ahead. You had your hand up for 10 minutes. No, go ahead.
What language did you use to build this?
What language? Oh, sorry. I don't know why I looked back there. So yeah, the actual framework that we use for our platform is a Next.js framework. So we're using this Next.js, Tailwind CSS, Firebase, and then we're using OpenAI for our RAG retrieval augmented generation tool. And then what is else? We're using. Sorry, I am the co-founder. My CTO would be better to answer all these questions. So yeah, I said Next.js, Tailwind, Firebase, OpenAI, and then yeah, that's it. That's the framework.
So the two right now just to build files into new and isolate these. So I'm very interested in the technical.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and I guess where's Adriana at? Oh, there you are. Yeah, she's actually one of our software interns. So she's right over here. She works directly with my co-founder, and pretty much like, I mean, which you can attest to. You came in, you didn't know anything really about software, right? You were just like, I want to learn about tech and go from there. So like I said, use resources if you want. That is a popular framework that we use. And if you have any questions that when we do the community table, I could be more than happy to kind of give a step-by-step process as to why we chose it. Okay, awesome. Where are we sitting? Yeah. All right. Cool. All right, so here we go. Pivoting to success. As you guys have saw, we ended up actually doing a pivot to success, but there are people, you know, that do pivot and then still fail. So keep that in mind. Yeah. As we know about this guy, pivoting sometimes works, sometimes doesn't. No matter how many times you say it, it's not always going to lead to the result that you want. However, in a business sense, pivot does mean something a little bit different. Pivot does mean more of a strategic shift for the company in order to better align with more of what your variables are, whether it's being like, for example, our situation where we saw the implementation of AI being more ready and available, how that could skew our business and be able to really bring it to the next level. That's where the pivot was lying, and also being able to niche down into a more targeted market. Why it matters, actually, is more of being able to make sure that you guys are adapted in the market. I want to make sure everybody can see it. Make sure you're being able to adapt in the market, make sure that you do keep an innovative product, along with being able to make sure you're surviving in the actual marketplace. A lot of these companies, there's obviously, you know, there's hundreds of thousands of them in there, and they want to be able to make sure they maintain competitive so you can be able to find product market fit, along with being innovative in the market. Like I said, when I got my start, this was me on our first day coming into Gator Hatchery. I literally stood there and I was like, we made it. Obviously, see, I had less hair back then, so. So yeah, I was wearing my bookmark shirt. My two co-founders were behind, and we were just like, yeah, we're gonna persevere and we're gonna make it through this. I don't know if it still looks the same when you were there, but that's how ours looked. But like I said, we were persevering a lot, and we understood why we needed to pivot. As you see here, there are when to pivot and actually when to persevere. As you guys know, there will be good advice, there will be bad advice, and there will be times where you need to take into account for both. And with that, you can see that there is maybe people that are telling you when you're working on something that it is consistently negative feedback. That is something to actually take into account, not just say you're a hater and kind of like put them to the side. That is valuable, especially when it is your target market that you're trying to work with. If I'm like, for example, if I'm working with students and nursing students are telling me this is not working, we should reevaluate why it's not working. This right here, just so you guys know, this was my first pitch that I was giving for Bookmark. Again, short hair, it's a long time. We were getting ready for our launch in 2020, and we're getting a pitch so we could win. Actually, I think it was like $50,000 for the program. We didn't win because I actually got choked up during the pitch. I literally stood there for like 5 minutes and didn't say a word, which, I mean, I think I've worked hard now where I can become a public speaker, not to get sit in front of you guys, literally the same group of people, and I literally like am able to talk. So yeah, just goes to show growth. Again, like I said, we were hitting the ground running. We were getting interviewed by the news. We were still like locally and trying to really spread the word about Bookmark at the time, and really just making sure that they understand what the brand is and what we stand for. And that's the type of things you guys are going to be doing when you're persevering in your actual like startups. Making sure you're hitting the ground running, making sure the eyes are on it to give you the advice you need to determine whether or not you should pivot or you should persevere in what you're doing. This, like I told you guys, we went through the Gator Hatchery program. We ended up seeing a lot of success there. And then eventually we ended up taking our strides down to Miami. This was our first picture with the AI Forge. Me and 10 other startups, happy as can be because we were, you know, just getting ready to get an investment and continue moving forward. And we were going to persevere. And little did we know that that was going to be the dark days of Bookmark. And I'm grateful. Like I said, some of these people here, smiling faces that actually like this guy right here, Jesse. He was one of my greatest mentors that was during that program. That is the one that said he would be willing to invest in Navi. And he's actually just secured a $500,000 investment for his own startup just now. He moved to Wisconsin and everything. So, right? So it does take the right people. It does take the culture, and it does take just persevering in those moments as a founder. Like I said, we kept hitting the ground running, getting as much out there as we could during this program and persevering. We were at the South Florida Tech Hub, where I was able to connect with a lot of individuals, really making the name with Bookmark and going from there. And, you know, traveling up to UF to speak to some students and just speaking with them and just having a good time talking about Bookmark and like you guys, seeing the successes, seeing the failures, and then just where we made the change. However, at this point, little did I know Navi was going to exist. This is the email that I got, December 18th, 2023. This was after, during Christmas time, like I said, where I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I really had to go back and live with my parents in Virginia. And I really was just like praying that I was gonna be fine. And then I ended up getting back to Miami and speaking with my girlfriend about this and seeing how we were gonna be able to actually go through this program. And that is where I was like, should I just change and not do a startup? That is a pivot. I can just do nothing. I can just go back and do what I'm doing, working in, you know, corporate society, or I can actually persevere again and try to go through this program. And that's exactly what we did. We made the shift. I would say 2 months in, February is when we made the official shift from Bookmark to Navi AI. I made this nice little post on LinkedIn, and I thought people were going to be like, why are you doing this? Why are you like trying to make this pivot? Because a lot of people didn't understand that I was already in this program. But lo and behold, a lot of people actually were very supportive of it and wanted us to succeed, which I took that very, very for granted. As you see, I'm not the only one that will go through this, nor will you guys be the only one. There are people who have done this in the past, as you see right here. This is what Instagram is now. This is where they were before. They were a little social networking app that was helping them like share photos, but it wasn't to the extent of where they are today. And of course, the 8 engineers that were all co-founders banded together and wanted to understand, well, how can we take this to the next level? What do we need to do to be able to go to where we are today? If they didn't make those pivots that they needed to make, they wouldn't be Instagram right now and getting bought out by Meta now for $1 billion. 8 people do a lot with $1 billion. However, I'm sure, I mean, I don't know if you guys are old enough to know about Blockbuster.
Yeah.
We are.
Oh, you guys are? Okay, all right. I'm making sure, you know, you never know. Yeah. Well, I was a big proponent of Blockbuster. I was like, yeah, the business model makes sense. I go in there, I can trade and get movies or whatever. However, markets change. And Blockbuster, they are probably kicking themselves in the foot to this day. The CEO of Netflix went into a meeting with Blockbuster to actually try to pitch this idea to them. And Blockbuster actually just laughed them out of the room. They said, there's no way this is going to be successful. There's no way you guys are going to be able to mail DVDs to people and people are going to enjoy that. And they don't even do that today. They've pivoted and are still one of the premier streaming applications to this day. But that just goes to show, like we were talking about, there will be people that will laugh you out of the door and tell you no, and then be the same people that'll be saying, wow, I should have listened to them. Now, Netflix is their own production studio. They're basically one of the premier, like I said, streaming apps comparable to Hulu, Disney, and all of these. Now I want to ask you guys a question. As you guys embark on your journey, with one of your guys' startups that you guys are currently working on now, or any of your ideas, have any of you actually pivoted or made any changes as of recent? Want to tell your story?
Me?
Yeah. What was the pivot that you made?
So most people here know that for the past 2 years, I've been working on a business called Navi AI, where I was making bags and accessories out of donated material. I was hosting events. It seemed like it was going well, but then I realized I just could not do it anymore.
Yeah.
I did not like it. And as much as I felt like everyone was going to be disappointed in me for switching, I made the decision to go with an idea recently that I've been wanting to do for years, but never did because I was just too scared. So I've recently made the switch, and just even from just talking with professors and other people and other people I see as mentors, everyone is like, why haven't you done this? And so that's given me the inspiration to realize, like, okay, so maybe this is a good pivot. Actually, not just maybe, I feel a lot more confident that this is the right decision. Like, this is what I need to do, like, after I graduate. Like, this is what I want to do.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah. And it was scary, right?
It was terrifying.
Yeah. It's a lot of work, and then you end up having to make that change. I know there was somebody else.
So I had a jewelry business that was online, and I actually started it like 2 years ago, and I was doing really well with it, but I wasn't getting, I didn't feel fulfillment in it. And I was using it online, like I was marketing it on social media, and I had background with filmmaking and, yeah, so I was into that stuff, and then I realized like, oh, yeah, I'm not getting fulfilled, I don't feel happy doing this, like, there's no benefit to other people except jewelry, and I thought I could do more, so then I rethought about it, and I started a business called Social Bloom, which is a marketing agency, and I help businesses promote themselves on social media.
Nice. And are you happy?
Oh, yeah, I'm much more happy, and also I can help my friends because they need help with marketing on their business, so I both fulfill.
There you go. Nice. I'm glad, honestly, I want to say something for like what I've seen from you guys before we even started this talk. I don't know, I know I don't know all of you, but I do feel an energy that you guys are very supportive of one another. I see you guys always constantly looking back at each other every time someone talks. And that's but no, this is good. Like, that's what you do need is a community. And I'm glad that you guys have that here. Like me and Xavier were talking that, yeah, you guys may be a smaller school or a smaller campus, but that is what you can use to your advantage. Being able to really make sure that you can reach out and touch one another and say, hey, like, I need help. Hey, can you like look in this, give me some advice? Hey, what do you think about this? A lot of people don't have that luxury. And I'm glad that you guys are all taking advantage of that. There was one more. It's okay, don't be afraid. All right, perfect. Yeah, raise a proud. It's okay.
So I haven't really like started. It was more of an idea. So originally I wanted to do like three things. I wanted to help at youth at risk youth. I wanted to help prisoners, and then I wanted to help once they get out of prison. I realized that that was like too much at once, and I needed to focus on one thing. So my plan now is like start with at risk youth, and then once I'm like successful in that, I can like go to prisoners and then like go up from there.
Yeah, absolutely. That's very good. I'm glad you learned that early on. That is one of the things a lot of startups, they want to be able to tackle big missions and really cast a very wide net and see what things like kind of stick. So it's always good to start off small and then really just work your way up. And I'm glad that you were able to do that. Along with, I actually have a few friends that, well, my dad, he actually is a police officer. He's been with the Department of Defense for about 20 years now. And he's seen exactly what you're talking about. So I'm glad that there are people who are working on those type of initiatives. So we'll take one last question, and then I think we should be good to wrap up, correct? All right, awesome.
Hey, my name is Lynn.
Nice to meet you.
During the presentation, you talked about how like you had to deny the funding for people because of the STEM Board stands not aligning with yours. So, and I also heard you talk about when you had to look at the how you train there. And I just wanted to know, have you ever had any other instances where you had to make those type of decisions, and how is your faith in informing your business?
Yeah, that's a very good question. I'm just gonna be honest with you. Like, I don't see too many people that of faith that are in entrepreneurship, and just in my circle, my experience. And I honestly thought I wasn't built for that because of that. That like you can't be an entrepreneur and try to make a business and have money while also being someone that wants to give up to others and actually help people bring up. And that was a very hard dilemma that I to this day, I still deal with if I'm doing the right thing. And it wasn't until I actually, which as I try to be very transparent, I have a therapist. I speak with him because I actually ended up taking one in January after dealing with all of this. And he actually is a Christian entrepreneur. He's built a lot of businesses, and he was basically helping me understand what is it like to actually be someone of faith and tackle entrepreneurship. So honestly, that was the biggest decision, is actually being able to reach out for help from someone who actually promotes that. Because I honestly thought it was completely lost in this type of space.
Shout out to you for looking. I know it can be hard. Turning down 10 things is not something right. So shout out to you for standing in the front.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Well, I'm gonna wrap up here. I just want to thank you guys so much for allowing me to be first of all open and honest with you guys, tell my entire journey. I normally don't even talk about this. This is actually the first time I've told like the entire story without like bursting into tears. And I think Remember speaking just give me a tidbit of the story and I'm just getting choked up, like talking to Xavier about it. And it's just like, wow. But all that to say, if I leave you with anything, is that you will go through hard things. Don't count them as like, oh, someone is doing something to you in a bad way. I don't regret going through any of that stuff because it's made me more resilient. It's made me stronger. And anytime there's a problem, as I tell all of the people that I work with, you have a problem going on, I've been and done it. Like, it's not an issue. Okay. So I hope you guys keep that as you're bringing up your startups, working with your own people in your team, and really understand that problems are a good thing to have. You're all here to learn. That's a human experience. And I thank you guys for being able to share mine.
Yeah.
Sharod, scholars, we're gonna take a 10-minute break. Let's be back in our seats at 11. Okay, it's currently 10:50, so let's be back in our seats at 11 a.m. Get some water. Okay, scholars, let's take our seats. We are ready to get started. One more time, let's go ahead and give it up for Sharod. Can we get
I appreciate it, guys. So now that you guys are all taking your seats, now that you guys have heard my talk of actually what I've been through and what it means to pivot or persevere, well, we're gonna put that all to the test for you guys. Yeah. So I have prepared. It's not gonna be scary, but this is gonna give you an insight because, as I told you guys, these are real life problems that you will definitely deal with at some point in your entrepreneurial career. And I want you guys to be motivated to actually be prepared to deal with it. So I have prepared a worksheet that's going to be dividing you guys up into groups. So I'm going to create about 8 different groups that has about maybe like 4 or 5 of you guys in there. And it's going to outline essentially a startup name, what the startup does, what essentially they're currently dealing with. And you guys are going to make the decision as a group whether or not they should pivot or persevere. And, yeah, right. There you go. And once you guys do that, you're going to craft whether it's a whole new business, niching down the product, or what you guys are essentially going to do. Whether it's nothing, it doesn't matter. It's all up to you guys because I want to see how you guys think when it comes to these types of situations. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go, each one of you assign you a number, and then you guys will get groups together. Sound good? Awesome. All right. So number 1, number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Are you guys students back there? Yes. Okay, 8. Well, everyone looks so young, so it's just and 1 and 2. There we go. Perfect. Everyone knows their numbers? All right, awesome. Cool. So go ahead and guys get into like some small groups so that way I can pass out you guys the flyers.
All right, where are my 3s at?
Where my 7s at?
Scholars, really quickly, let's get all the 1s over here.
Aww.
2s, let's get the 2s up here. 3s, like midway. 4s, 5s, 6s, 7s, and then let's get the 8s in the middle, toward the back, the middle seats in the back. So again, 1's over here, 1's over here, 2's on stage, 3's over here, 4's over here, in the back where Jaleel is, 5. Back here. Let's get 6s over here in the middle, right here. 7s can come back up here. And then 8s in the back. I was like in the little back. Okay.
This lighting in here. So I'm sorry, these look like. They'll look good in the category. It's really amazing.
We're too safe. All right. Oh, you're good. There you go.
Oh, are you intimidated?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Fine. Yeah.
Yeah, we have. All right. Hey, where's group A? All right, 8. All right. 7, you guys are two? All right. So, I'm gonna give it to one person and you guys are gonna assign who your guys' writers.
I'm the writer.
Look
No writing.
No writing? No, just waiting.
We'll use this.
Did you all get your assignment? Hold on.
Well.
I think it's most of them. Oh, like guys, that's it's like playing the past. I'm stuck.
Excuse me, everyone. I just want to ask you guys a quick question. Excuse me, everyone. Thank you. So, I understand you may have some questions. If you guys don't understand something, please just let me know and I can explain a little bit if anything on the paper doesn't make any sense. Okay? All right, proceed.
I'm not there.
HealthSync is a startup focused on developing wearable devices that monitor life health and safety of employees. Their flagship product is smartwatch that tracks heart rate, blood oxygen levels, and patterns in physical activity. HealthSync aids empower control their health and control activity. Scenario. My landscape for HealthSync Gamer internet secrets from
So I'm just gonna make it work. Startup offering school fees and flexible online I'd like to have a real time.
Oh, yeah. Because there's no. I know all the time. I noticed. Whenever asking that question.
Okay, since it's long.
Yeah.
I appreciate the and sports operating and my lower income they seek more. I'm bored, so you've got a line. Surgeons. No, that's a good song. So it says
Oh, it's not. I read it.
I can get a test. Well, you don't like to
Listen to what I said.
Let me ask you that.
That's what I was doing with them, so they were talking about it.
Based on the.
I still have to talk to them.
Cause you're gonna go with. You'd rather go. So you believe that.
Hopefully we can get a laugh about it at some point. Yeah. Now, why like you?
So I'm just ready for.
It's making sense.
Yeah.
Which ones did you guys get?
The housing.
Curious to see what you guys are gonna do. Make sure you find out.
So.
Yeah.
Hey, students, in case you guys need some help, one of your guys' friends actually asked a good question. This is a slide here to help you guys, determine a little bit more. If you guys still need a little.
Yes.
Traditionally, right, basically, they're, it's like.
Yeah.
You got,
We got a little debate going on. Related towards.
the idea of the.
Yeah, so we're yeah, right. Well, yeah, make sure you guys are designated.
This area is.
Okay, so yes.
Why we push you?
How are we doing over here, guys? Doing good. What were we leaning towards?
The first one.
Pivot? Okay. Alright. Which one did we get?
We got
Make sure you guys designate from your screeners. Alright. Yeah.
I've actually thought about something like a higher people buzz.
No.
Well, I mean,
Since, I think that's like, I thought it was bugs in those.
I know it's scary, but
so we have like another bit of design. Well, I got more.
Really? What, right?
What if we also?
I have an idea, actually. Wait. What if we? And because it says here that one of the problems that there are a lot of things. What if we said, but at least what are our activities that we helping us CC? We don't. Becoming a CC, no, we become a CC of the, what other watchmen? We partner with our and then we pivot into becoming a side. I don't know how business, or we can feel that gap, switching from over that gap. Because the needed problems have.
No, it's more, it's just. Yeah, I'm saying we could, I think it's better. So,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, we can find your. So. I'll be on time. Just like.
So if we get because it's not just already, already. Make the best much down there.
Because everything says it's off. Every time I do it down, it's like, sound, it's dropping it.
Yeah.
They're not a big company too, like that's small. Something that's like five. Maybe even. That's I mean, I'm fine with it.
And the boots.
I think we should.
It's not, and they've been positive so far. So it's just right now. Honestly, and then we just continue on. And we keep on growing. And I do agree.
Yeah.
I don't think they pivot too much. I was saying just like change. Like even and then like oh yeah, then they're massive. Alright, we deserve. Let me see. No, it's just one. Absolutely.
Market competitive right now.
That's when you value reason, explain why you're supposed to.
It's that circumstance. Like I said, right now we're teaching where there are low income students. Right now. So right now we just juice all the kids. They got money on that. And we're gonna be free subscription base, and then if it gets lower, because they're getting enough out of that, then if they watch this for right now, our age objective is like use all the power to selling, make as much money.
The core often indicate that the first food line rather than. They just operate within the and then financial. So we are declining in revenue because it's primarily occurring from high operational costs. So while financial is a concern, it can be addressed easily. Budget cost management, investment in key areas rather than.
That's quality.
Set up the bugs. And then as well, let's just figure out how we can manage Operational costs. Last one is, sorry. Competitors are investing rapidly with more sophisticated AI features. New selling personalized.
Your resume, and a lot of
So instead,
whatever, just to get on the resume.
So they keep saying, we are still like, picture of the bird. Hiring someone that has. Now, read the board, yes. And then as well, I don't think investors. Is one of the problems with we're very well known, right? So I think that's more. There's probably.
Percentage of whatever we make is just going into those three courses.
Yeah, I was like, yeah.
Would you all think? No, I don't deserve it. After reading this, we all agree. I think it just makes the most sense. And then as well, we're just having buzz.
So what do we have now?
I think so.
Why is there actually, special
I think a lot of the problems we solve. And if we're already have a rating, and if we can show that everything, how good we are. So I'm not saying all the problems, at least enough to be able to actually.
Oh, that's great. Oh, a lot of.
So we can break the mold.
So what makes us different?
And then and as well, business already there, that people realize.
That's not going to the.
There's no reason to like, just the fine, all it seems like having, not having enough money, they're just fixing this.
It's a lot of businesses, they don't like to hear that. Yeah, they like to hear that especially early. Oh, yeah, they want to see how big it is. I taught myself. Hire somebody, I think that's what we'll spend. Okay, I keep that in mind when you're speaking about this. Once they maybe give you money, but they expect, especially if it's a missing. That means, I mean, I don't understand if you look at the. But where do
You want to present.
Yeah, it's always a revolving door. Like, if they give you good for one instance, they not be so good, especially if you have the right investor, you have to see what's the as a family, if you don't have, you'll be a little bit, something I'm working on. So it's all. Yes. I'll send you a calendar. Yeah. Very close friend.
So you don't want to get
Focus on. That was. Reading this more, learning it, like.
Yeah, I heard, I first started. I didn't want to have 3 going. Oh. And I ended up being someone. It's the way we wanted to.
I mean, things down.
Yeah. Yes. Let's go down. That's not like I just didn't want to have a problem. I didn't want to have a now, I was like, I'm not.
Like, if I had YouTube
Thank you. I already knew how to do like this on fire. Yeah, like the original part of that. The original was a project. Yeah, I mean, I talk to people like, hey, like, what is this? Like, yeah, I mean, yeah, that's where we're gonna have to- Keep that in mind. All right. No, thank you. Thanks. Yeah. So the last one. Okay, so the chair.
Oh, so.
That is like, it's like there's an empty lunch hour.
Probably like,
What is that? So. Yeah. You, everybody?
yeah, that's.
That's how I know.
That's awesome. We, I think they're using things like they're just doing it more for training and conditioning. It's like a workout.
With.
It's not even just to go run, just to, yeah, like 5 matches. Really fun. So you can support as much as you want, but it's a random person that you haven't been training with on a treadmill with, like, not one of your buddies. They actually get out of you. Really, just go for like experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rocket. Can you do any martial arts?
I'm going to. So he was. Like start.
That's I did jujitsu for 8.5, 9 years. It's really good to just learn how to fight on the ground, not just in the fights that are on the ground. You know how to fight on the ground. You're not guaranteed to win, but arm bars, leg bars, they put it in it. I'm not
Excuse me, everyone, so in 2-minute warning, if you guys have either what you're gonna do, pivot, persevere, or something in between, or you guys have already established your speaker, so just letting you guys know, 2-minute warning. No pressure.
Wow. Speaking.
Oh, I didn't want to send out the service now. Like-
Yeah, no, it's we're here.
I will release.
We're in like a class, so weird. Go say hi.
I really see it starting to find.
Not any, it's like, it's like random matches you would have done. Nobody's like, I tried to get some stuff, but they were like, way too beginner, just getting into the gym and started training. I'm just like, not a waste of my time. Random kid, to the gym. Don't have it. Yeah, no, I'm probably dropping out of state, John. Done, and then she went from, yeah. No, I run a wholesale Amazon business, so I'm made a lot of it over there, and then when I go home, I live in South Jersey, I'll take care of growing. Yeah, so bro, we're trying to do the apartment in the next 10 years.
All right, guys, that's gonna be time for you. All right, so where is group one?
Yes?
Yes? All right, so we're gonna do it in order. We're gonna have you guys basically come over here, present what your findings were, what your decision was, and what you guys are gonna be doing that's new or the same. Who's gonna be your speaker? All right, cool. The way we're gonna lay this out is you're gonna say what the company is, what the description is, and then what you guys chose, and then explain from there, all right? Awesome. Go ahead.
All right.
No worries.
The company description. HealthSync is a startup focused on developing wearable devices that monitor vital health metrics in real time. Their flagship product is a smartwatch that tracks heart rate, blood oxygen levels, sleep patterns, and physical activity, providing users with comprehensive health insights through a connected mobile app. HealthSync aims to empower individuals to control their health and wellness productivity. Do I read the scenario also?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
After launching HealthSync smartwatch, the company has garnered initial interest from fitness enthusiasts and health-conscious individuals. However, sales have plateaued due to limited functionality compared to competitors like Fitbit and Apple Watch. Additionally, user feedback highlights the need for more advanced health monitoring features such as stress level tracking and ECG capabilities. HealthSync is also facing challenges with high production costs with affect the device's affordability. Meanwhile, advances the healthcare technology present opportunities to integrate HealthSync's devices with telemedicine platforms, but the company lacks expertise in this area. Based on this information, we decided to pivot as a group, and the reason why we chose pivot was because they're facing challenges with high production costs, which can affect the device's affordability. And they're already competing, have two major competitors, Fitbit and Apple. So we decided to Fitbit, and the pivot that we're using is gonna be they're gonna be a we're gonna instead of them being like a watch, it's gonna be a little device, like a little magnet, little device that will help with health corporations. And it'll be like an emergency call, if you have any complications, that instead of being a watch that you can just wear, like Fitbit or Apple Watch. Why compete when you can really pivot to a new direction? You really just advance. You have the same model, the same business model, just pivot to a new direction.
Got it. So instead of direct to consumer, you guys are focused on more giving it to businesses so they can give to their consumers?
Yeah. To add on to what Ola said, and to what you just said, instead of focusing on selling to individual with high product costs, you are not going to be able to compete with Fitbit and Apple unless you're coming at a quarter or half the price. So we want to take the technology that's already created, the health monitoring, and make it more health related, and partnering with either watch companies that want to focus on the health aspect, or either just health companies that want to focus on a product where people can maybe, if they're in a medical emergency, You can constantly look at their heart rate or their breathing. If they need to press a button and have somebody help them, we want to transition to more of that style product instead of a traditional watch type product.
I mean, it's a really good point. Just to give you an example, there's actual real work that's being done with that. But there are people that are able to predict using AI technology and machine learning to predict whether someone's going to have a heart attack by a certain time in their life. And those technologies aren't going direct to the consumer, but rather to the corporations that are already established. So it's a good way of thinking of that to, go to directly to the actual businesses. That way they can use that technology and provide directly to their markets. Good job, guys. Thank you. Awesome. All right. Group number 2. Well, do you have a question? Bella, do you have a question?
Oh, no, I didn't.
Oh, okay. Got it. All right.
So EU Flex is an ed tech startup offering high school students a flexible online learning platform. The platform provides a variety of courses, interactive lessons, and real-time tutoring sessions aiming to enhance students' learning experiences and academic performance. EDU Flex emphasizes personalized learning paths and integrates gamification elements to keep students engaged and motivated. So scenario is, since its launch, EDU Flex has attracted a moderate number of high school students who appreciate the platform's flexibility and interactive features. However, growth has stagnated due to limited course offerings and high subscription costs, which deter potential users from lower income backgrounds. Additionally, recent feedback indicates that while students enjoy the interactive lessons, they seek more advanced courses that align with their college preparation needs. Meanwhile, a surge in free online education resources has increased competition, making it harder for EDU Flex to differentiate itself. The company is also facing challenges in scaling its tutoring services due to a shortage of qualified tutors and high operational costs. So what we chose was Pivot. And since we were having trouble finding tutors for specific types of subjects, instead of having a tutor per type, what we decided to try and do was hire a wider variety of tutors that tutor a wide variety of subjects. So since prices are too high for quality education tutors and not enough tutors, a little bit low on the lower side for scaling back on tutors, except wide variety. Focus on higher income students. But here's the thing, we have a funding option for the lower income. We also have volunteer tutoring programs to bring in more lower income students. And our target market is still the higher income. So the key changes were the volunteer tutoring program, the funding option for lower income students, and the focusing more on higher income students through that wider variety of tutors that teach wide variety of subjects.
Was there ever any consideration of just making it open source? Just making a better product than the ones that are already out there that are free?
We didn't really put that too much.
What do you mean, like creating a better free product?
Yeah.
How are we gonna make money then?
How does Facebook make money?
I don't know.
They run ads, they have partnerships.
Yeah.
Well, you can't really run an ad during a live tutoring session.
No, but you can on your, well, yeah, that's how you I mean, yeah, you can do that, but you can do it on other places, on your actual site, and also negotiating partnerships and things like that. You can get government grants. There's ways that you can do sponsorship, especially if you're an open source project. There are plenty of organizations that have that are open source. Just something to consider, but what you guys are doing, I definitely like it. I just want you guys to also think out of the box as well. But good job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. All right, cool. Very good. All right, number 3.
We are the Thrives because there's 5 of us and we are group number 3. We are selling healthy snacks targeted towards busy business people. We currently distribute them at local gyms and the customer is happy with the product, the quality, The only concern is the price. Why are the prices so high? Because we have an inefficient supply chain. Why do we have an inefficient supply chain? Because we don't have qualified professionals to establish the relationships with our vendors. We also have a competitor who offers a cheaper product. It's lower in quality, and their cheaper price comes from the fact that they have an optimized, organized supply chain. So what we decided to do a soft pivot. We keep the quality of our product, we keep our core idea, but to expand in the market, we need to lower down our expenses. And we will do that by changing our supply chain completely. We will also direct our profits towards hiring a good team of supply chain managers, a good team of our representatives, of our logicians. And as I said, we will change the supplier itself. Where we will persevere is, again, in our core idea of providing healthy, accessible snacks to people who don't really have time to cook. And we will also maybe attempt to buy from overseas and possibly offshore our factories to, again, lower the production cost and kind of reduce our expenses so that we can keep growing, expanding, and persevering. But so.
Awesome. Cool. Great. Well, quick question for you. Have you thought about ever, like, being that you are having a consumer goods? These are things that you need to consider as far as like international, when you're offshoring for that. But there are things of like certain things that are banned in certain countries. Did you guys ever talk about that while you were deliberating on your pivot?
We did not.
Yeah, which it's fun. That's the thing, is that, which I'll take a segment here. I purposely did that for you guys because there's always so many things you have to think about that maybe not be what's right in front of you. So there's always going to be something you may miss. That's why it's not a thing that there is no essentially right or wrong answer. It's going to be something you just continuously evolve. So still good job, but I just want to like make sure you keep that in mind whenever you're working on consumer goods.
I did think about it. I just never got to voice it. I stared at the wall and thought about it. That's it.
Well, no worries. I mean, yeah, it's something. Yeah, I'm glad you thought about it, and that way you can be able to see how that would implement into the other aspects of it all. Awesome. Thank you so much. Bless you.
Thank you.
Awesome. All right. So let's see.
Next group.
Yeah. And you got the another short mistake off right there in the corner.
Oh,
Yeah, wow.
Jesus.
We all good? You good? All right. Well, let's not get any injuries over here. Let's see.
Okay, hello everyone.
Hi, Bella.
Hi, Bella. So the current business that we're working with is FitPulse. It's a wearable fitness device that tracks user progress and essentially keeps you healthy, right? There's been an issue with how we're operating. The cost is too high, and this has led to ultimately a lot of decline in our business, not as much user connection, and just an overall decline in the business. So we realized that there's a pretty strong disconnect in the overall goal for why we even started this business in the first place, which is to create community and also make people healthy. Based off the market feedback, users appreciated personal workouts as well as the live coaching and community support. So in order to take these and merge them both, we've decided to create an app that essentially tracks local fitness classes near you. Kind of like Uber, we hire people to coach classes. So like, let's say Elena has a yoga class in the Boca Raton center, whatever, you know, and then you go, you show up for free or you pay however much. We don't know exactly what the costs will be, but the benefit is there, which is community support, staying healthy, and it's easily accessible through our app. So we kind of did a soft pivot as well. We're not necessarily pivoting the whole idea and coming up with a new concept. We still want to host the same benefits that we would have with the wearable device. We're just doing it in a different way. So that's that.
Interesting. Yeah. So as you see that they're always incumbents, you had a product that was a little bit similar in their pivot. On the spot, what would you think that would be differentiating from them as far as like with your soft pivot?
Like to their idea or?
Yeah, the group one that went.
Um.
Awesome. All right. Thank you. Excellent.
Great. Hey guys, good morning. Good morning. So our company description is Brewster Tech is a startup that initially developed a smart coffee machine designed for home use, integrating with mobile apps to customize brewing preferences. So after 6 months in the market, Brewster Tech has received feedback that while customers appreciate the smart features, the machine is too expensive for the average customer. Sales are slow and the company is burning through its seed funding without achieving significant market penetration. So what we decided to do was persevere. We are utilizing our strength with technology while also filling the gaps with large-scale manufacturing through partnerships by one, connecting with smart homes. One of the things that we were lacking were partnerships. So through partnerships with like Google Home and Echo Dot, we can connect the coffee machine to Google Home apps, unlike the Keurig. So the Keurig is something that is there, but it's more expensive to have when you can just have something to connect to something that you already have at home. And also we can utilize apps to connect with Google. If you don't have it, you can still use the app and still use it to say, hey, get my iced mocha latte ready for me when I get home by 6 o'clock. And it's there for you. So that's what we do.
Another thing to consider is that, patents are a real thing. It's may not be in that particular sheet of paper, but if you guys happen to have technology that was patentable, those are things that you can consider when working out licensing agreements or white labeling solutions for someone that's Google, that they could either have their own product and then have it be licensed from you guys. Yeah. So it's good to own the idea and the invention as well, not just even just having the actual product. All right, awesome. Thank you. All right, guys. How many groups do we have left? What group are you guys? 7. 7? All right. Cool. All right, cool. There we go. So we have good.
Hey, y'all. Okay, so the company that we were working with is Green Wave Energy. So what they do is they develop affordable solar panels for residential use, and they aim to make renewable energy accessible to all homeowners. The issue that they ran into is that sales have slowed down, even though that they had a lot of initial interest, and they aren't able to afford the cost, and they have limited local support. And the government has made some new regulations that make it a lot more favorable to larger companies. Now, we decided to pivot because based off the analysis that they shared, the customers, even though they appreciate what they do, they don't align with the limited availability, and there's not a lot of support in their local regions. And then financially, they do not have the proper revenue streams to grow and to really scale. And then finally, their team, they do not have the resources that they need to be able to move to a larger scale. And even though they have expertise in renewable energy, they just can't do it. And like we said before, the government is not in their favor. So the new direction that we think they should go in is focus on using the skills that they do have and applying it to a different company. So basically partnering with someone to be on a more larger scale. It did say that they struggle with strategic partnerships, but I do believe if they get a new board of advisors of people who might have experience in this field, they can properly assimilate to another company while sharing their skills to be able to get their mission out there of giving people renewable energy while also helping someone else switch their methods to a more sustainable option. Is that good? Okay.
All right. Yeah, we have one more.
So we are Travel Ease. We have a small dedicated user base, and we provide
Personalized itineraries based on user preferences and past travel history. The app has a small but dedicated user base, but recent updates have introduced bugs that have frustrated users. Additionally, competitors are integrating more advanced AI features, leaving travel ease struggling to keep up technologically. So we decided to persevere because we felt it's just not a big enough problem to fully pivot. And so the way that we can persevere is by, if that's not already existing within the company, create a tech department and hire someone that is experienced in tech and that can fix the bugs. Because if we're a tech company with an app, it's like 100% guaranteed that we're gonna have more bug problems in the future. And we're gonna need to be proactive about that problem. So I think that it's not something that qualifies a complete pivot, but just maybe like adding a department or enhancing that department if it does already exist.
Yeah, customer loyalty is a thing, especially if you want to make sure that there's a lot of people that are competitors that are out there that provide maybe a similar service, but at the end of the day, it is an experience. That's why we have Starbucks, Dunkin' Donuts, all different types of coffee places. So, yeah, good job, guys.
Thanks.
All right, last but not least,
So the company we're looking at is Eco Home Solutions, and we provide eco-friendly home cleaning products that basically made from natural ingredients. And then we have a very loyal customer base, but basically our manufacturing costs are very high because we have competitors that provide very similar products like us. So what are we gonna do? We're not pivoting our entire business, but we're persevering in the market by pivoting a few elements to the business. And basically we decided to pivot because the resources were not able to scale and provide like enough market share and provide enough profitability. So we're gonna change the branding and target market and create a social media marketing like campaign to advertise our products and upgrade the quality while hiring content creators and local businesses to help with, getting the word out about our product. And so some key changes are, and our target market are young people ages like 21 to 28 and newlyweds. And key changes like branding design, marketing strategies, learning from the competitors. Because while we do have competitors, I think it's really important to learn from them to see what we can improve and improvise on. And we're still like I said, we're learning from competitors, changing the branding, reaching a new target audience. And we're increasing the quality by lowering our manufacturing costs, putting up flyers and.
So what I would say to that is like, I don't know if you guys are familiar, there's one called like the Pink Stuff. It's been a very popular brand when it comes to cleaning solutions. A lot of it, there's plenty of other ones that probably do the same thing, but a key component of it is how they brand themselves and communicate to their target users. So I like how you guys are going that route, and I definitely would wish you success if this was your business.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, perfect. So yeah, just to end it off for you guys, like I said, there wasn't any right or wrong answer when it comes to this. This is something that you guys need to consider when actually making those real life decisions for your respective business. There's always things that you may be thinking about internally or being able to consult with outside parties. That's why there's a lot of people who do things like hiring consulting firms, hiring internal people to do better decisions, changing your entire advisor group. Lots of different things that you can do, whether it's a pivot or persevere. So I hope this was a learning lesson for you guys to understand what it's like, just to get a tidbit of it. That way you guys can be able to provide that for your real businesses. So hope you guys had fun.
My name's Ari, and on behalf of all of Watson, I just want to say thank you so much for coming today and sharing your story and your experiences and just being so vulnerable in your experiences and all the struggles that you've had to overcome. And yeah, so your story is just so inspiring and powerful. And I personally really appreciate what you said about growth mindset and just the importance of framing your mindset and the challenges that you face, and that they're not there to stop you or deter you, but they're there to as an opportunity to adapt and learn and grow. And so we thank you. And at Watson, we have a saying where we protect our courage. So you coming here has protected ours, and in return, we want to protect yours by caping you.
Oh.
So,
Oh, wow.
yeah.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
I mean, thank you all. This is really awesome. I really appreciate it. I do feel like I'm one of you guys. Awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Oh my gosh. Yeah, this was a lot of fun. So.
And again, Sharod, thank you so much. This has been this has been just an amazing presentation workshop. I've learned a lot, and I'm very much looking forward to helping you all in your growth journeys as you all continue to pivot. Can we give it up one more time for Sharod? Thank you. All righty, guys, thank you again so much for coming today. What we're going to do now, we're going to go ahead and transition outside at Alicia's instructions. We're going to go ahead and take a group shot, a couple of shots with Alicia and Sharod. And then those of you who are participating in community table, please see me following the photo. Thank you.